I could be bitter, but I am better because I was born to a crack addicted mother. I was abused mentally and physically and given up for adoption. I was adopted by a family that was pretty awesome, and they loved me as if I was one of their own. I was abused from ages 4 to about 6. When I lived in this foster home, the foster mother had a son that lived in the basement who was older than us. But at the time, I had no idea what his age might have been. I can guess now it would be somewhere in the range of 17 to 19. We would be sent into the basement for varying chores, grabbing laundry, just going down there because she had company, that kind of thing. And then it became more of a punishment going to the basement because I know he's down there, you know. We would hide inside of the side end tables to try to escape him, but of course he would just find us. So it was like a corner room in the basement where, you know, away from the laundry facilities, and that's where he would be. And he would sexually assault us in there. At one point it got so bad with the way that they would treat us, like she would feed us White Castle. That would be our breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We would get one burger each. She had no problem hitting us, knocking us around. The end of my story there was when she and I basically had a physical confrontation. And at that point I said, you know what, I can no longer take this. She was in my face, she was yelling, she was screaming, you know, get out of here, get out of here. And I just kind of raised both of my hands and I pushed her, not even realizing that there was a big picture window behind her. She fell through the window and she fell onto the grass, into the bushes in the front yard. I remember the police coming and taking her statement, and eventually my social worker showing up and taking me away. And from there I was sentenced to a children's home to live, where of course I was considered to be a bad child at that point. I did. I tried attempted suicide when I was much younger. I still have a very visible scar across my wrist. I had to be about 8 or 9 at the time, and thank God it didn't work. I never felt it was necessary for me to tell anyone, because in my mind, what would happen? Who would save me? Dr. J was our director of multicultural affairs, where I went to school at John Carroll. I shared my story with her because she pushed and prodded until I did. She wanted to know where this anger was coming from, what was really going on, what was the root of it. And eventually I had to share it all. If you find yourself in this type of situation, or you know that you've been in this type of situation, talk to somebody. Don't bottle it. Holding on to it just makes it stew, it makes it brew, it makes it harder on you. I talk to a lot of people. I do have a psychologist. I'm very open with her, and that's something that I had to accept. So I know a lot of times people say, I'm not gonna sit down on anyone's couch. I'm not gonna tell them my problems. They have their own problems, but that's something that's really helped me. And I wish more people would get help that way. I do have a lot of things that I'm still working on, both in relationship-wise, learning to trust, and then even life-wise, learning to forgive. No, I never wish I didn't go through it. Because of how strong I am today, what I can teach my children, and I have girls. So being able to teach them about love and respect and how to protect themselves, I couldn't teach that lesson if I hadn't been through it. When I was getting ready to graduate high school, the county recognized a few kids that they considered to be rising up and moving on. And they presented me with an award and a scholarship money for college. My birth mother came to the ceremony along with my adoptive parents and my social worker, who had been with me throughout the very beginning. And to see all these people who love me in one place was amazing. I have a picture with both of my mothers and me in the middle, and it's probably my most cherished possession. I'd never been to a funeral where there was somebody who had served that had passed away. And when we got to the cemetery after we left the funeral home, there was a procession of army men who had bagpipes and horns, and as soon as the limo car door opened, they're playing, and I'm like, whoa. I thought it was over. I'm thinking we're just here to say, you know, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. No, these people are doing a whole ceremony. I mean, they had the flag and they folded, and the presentation is so beautiful. And then they hand it to me. And as you see, I don't go anywhere without my flag. I smile all the time. I have these 2 little girls who are just wonderful, but they're just like full of life, full of joy, spontaneous. I usually just find something to smile about. Like, somebody will say something and I'll laugh, or something will be on TV, or there's music playing. Music is like awesome to me. It's a lot of things that bring me to that. I'm just gonna smile through it all. Having gone through so much, I recognize that, you know, beauty is only a shell from the outside. From the inside, if you're not a genuine person, if you're not loving yourself, loving who you are as a person, and loving others, then you can't really be beautiful.